Greetings, listeners, and welcome to The Spiritual Experience, a show where we share stories of life, love, and redemption for all of humanity on Earth. So sit back and enjoy. Try to identify with the speakers and not compare. Don't forget to subscribe on all podcast platforms. I'm your host, Jay Lewis, and here we go. What's up, everybody? We're back. I figured I'd learn how to use those buttons. I love the applause. It makes me sound like official tissue. Hope everybody's having a good week, having a good time. I got a lot going on, man. It's been very busy for me. I have a very busy freaking brain. You know, it's like, it's a very busy brain. And sometimes I wish it wasn't, but that's just the way that it goes. And it's always busy with this nagging, it's just nagging. I'm not really putting myself down so much. I don't really do too much of that. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it's really nagging me like, bro, like, you could be better. You could be great. You could do more. You could always do more. You can wake up earlier. You can get after it. That's what you can do with your time. Putting all these pieces together of some kind of life, I mean, is it really life, or are we just dying? Are we living or are we dying? Are we living or are we dying? I don't know. I think it's kind of like the same thing. I mean, once you're born, you start dying right away, right? Is that the thing? And it's so quick how that happens. It's so quick. You're just basically, not trying to be morbid, but what I'm saying is that I was listening. We picked up my middle kid today from Job Corps, upstate Callicoon, New York. We're about to see what the deal is, right? Anyway, so we go up there. We're driving up there, whatever. My little boo, she's all the way in the back. She had a traumatic experience with me. I made her go on the cyclone again yesterday. She doesn't love it. I love it. If you're in Brooklyn or if you're in New York City and you don't ride the cyclone, I ride it 10 times a year if I can, 20 times, whatever. On a random day, I'll pull up, I'll park, I'll run on there. I'll have the time of my life. It's the only roller coaster I actually ride. Like I don't know if I would go to Great Adventure and get on a roller coaster or any of this other stuff. And it's funny because we were watching Final Destination 3 the night before because she didn't have school on Good Friday. So I was like, oh, let's watch something crazy, I wanted to watch The Omen, but she wasn't down. So, whatever. So we started watching Final Destination 3, and they had a lot of roller coaster stuff in there, which was funny. Because then the next day, what was that? Was that Thursday, Friday? What's today? Yeah. So, either way, didn't have school Friday. I did whatever I had to do Friday. And Saturday, what happened Saturday? Yeah, did that stuff. And, we had lunch in Dumbo over there on the water. It's wide open. You go, they have like this, I don't know, like these, you can go down by the water on the rocks or whatever, or by the carousel. And there's like a grass area where people sitting down. People are taking tans. It's so weird. Weird taking tans. I don't understand that. It was a lot. It was a lot of weirdness over there. There was a kid on a unicycle. No, it was on a regular bicycle, one of those city bikes, riding around, balancing a green soccer ball on his head. And I guess he was just doing that for money. We gave him a few bucks, whatever. I got a Philly cheesesteak sandwich, which is all the way off the friggin' diet. I still got I got like another week and a half to prepare for my, what can I prepare? What am I preparing for? Oh, my half marathon. I think I'm there, but I still gotta get on it. I gotta run at least 2 or 3 times this week I'm just kind of winding down. I'm doing like 6 mile runs, 9 mile runs, 6 mile runs, 9 mile runs, like twice a week instead of like 3 times. I'm just going to pace myself. Maybe I'll run the course once this week if I can do it. That would be amazing. If I run all 13 and then just chill and then just go and do it again. Maybe run like 5 in between then and now, which is dope. Yeah, so anyway, like I was saying, man, I got like cotton mouth and I don't smoke at all. No, I smoke cigar, but I don't smoke weed. Yeah, man, like we're on our way out. We're on our way out. So like I want to spend my time doing this kind of stuff. So I have this nagging voice that's like, yeah, you could do this, you could do that. There you make the time. There's time, you make the time. And it's involuntary. I'm not really making a choice because, to be honest with you, if I'm sitting around and I'm not doing anything, dude, I feel like shit when I'm like that. Like I do. I feel like shit. There's going to be a day where I can't do stuff. Like maybe I don't know how old I'm going to be, but that day's going to come. And by then I would have been like, okay, well, how many miles did it, well, I ran a half marathon. Maybe by then I'd run a full marathon. Maybe I'll do triathlon while my body can do it or whatever. I'll just go and take testosterone. Testosterone. Like what the fuck? I want to be sitting around eating potato chips, watching, what do you call it? Reality TV. I don't even watch. Like I have the Fire Stick that has like the bootleg shit on there. My cousin Louie got for me. Thank you very much. God bless you, Louie. Congratulations on the new baby. But yeah, he gave me the plug for that because honestly, I don't watch television. I don't even want to watch movies really. I told you last time. I watch documentaries. I watch UFC. I watch boxing, and the Yankees when I can. I try and catch a Yankee game. I'd much rather go in person to the Yankees, but whatever. So saying that we was getting old because we're dying, we're listening to, I have like Pandora and I don't know, whatever. I'm cheap. I don't pay the $5 a month to not have ads because I don't care about the ads, So when we're driving to go pick up my kid, because it's 2.5 hours each way, I drove freaking 5 hours today and then came and worked. And now I'm hanging out with you guys. This is a Sunday. This is actually Easter Sunday, actually. Llegó el Señor. So, yeah, so we're riding up there. And we're listening to Pandora, Tribe Called Quest station. Because my girl's not like 100% into super gutter rap. I mean, she likes it. And I like it, but whatever. And she can't do classic rock. She can't do heavy metal. She can't do... What else can she do? I can tell you what she can do. She does dance hall. She does roots reggae, which I have two. I love both of them. She does reggaeton. We have a Plan B station, which is one of my favorites. She can't do Spanish pop. She can't do like stuff like Manu Chao or what is it? Whatever. Yeah, she can't do that stuff. Even though she knows like way more Spanish than me, she doesn't like that. What else? Because I have another station that that has like Spanish pop on it. I think it's called Bomba Estéreo. Yeah. Bomba Estéreo. It's pretty good. Anyway, so regardless, we're listening to Tribe. And like all of the old school songs come on in there. Tribe, De La, some Wu-Tang. And I forgot which track was it. Oh, it was, well, 2 back-to-back. One was The Far Side, Passing Me By. that was like, I looked at her, I said, I got to tell you, like, I really love this record. I loved it when it came out, and I love it now. She was like, oh, my God, me too. And I was like, bitch, don't try to be a witch and shit. You know, my little one, she puts both her headphones in. She actually asks, which is really nice. She's like, I'm going to put both headphones in. That way, like, we know not to try and talk to her, not to feel disrespected if she don't answer back. Because she don't want to listen to our stuff. She's like, whatever, freaking Harry Styles and all this other stuff. So, listening to Passing Me By. That was like so good. And then what was the other one? Pete Rock and CL Smooth, right? They reminisce, which is probably one of the reasons why, Pete Rock is one of the best producers to ever walk the face of the earth. But point of the whole thing is this. This is the point. The point is that Passing Me By song, and then they played like 93 Till Infinity, whatever, was that Souls of Mischief? It's like their only record that I know. Anyway, dude, those songs are 30 years old. 30. I'll take a sip to that. You're 30 years old, bro. It's like, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm thinking about that. I'm like, wow, how old is freaking Welcome to the Jungle? Oh, man. What am I doing with my days? You know, I'm 30 years beyond What's the Scenario? Tribe Called Quest. And I remember that. That was like 7th grade. We were just getting into school, maybe summer of 7th grade, maybe. Or something like that. I don't know. I don't want to look it up. But I know we were going into Kakia and we had book bags with radios and everybody would sing it outside and the teachers would be like, what the heck are these kids singing? I remember we had, in junior high, we had the, it's funny because, the other thing is I found these old football pictures from back then when I was on a football team. And I texted them to my daughter and she was like, oh my God, you were on a football team? I was like, bro, I was like an athlete. Like I played football in the fall, wrestling in the winter, and baseball in the spring. I was all year round, until all of that, until the street got a hold of me. The street meaning the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the whole, adolescence got a hold of me. Like a real hold of me. She couldn't believe it because it was me in my football uniform, whatever. Me in one of my purple suits because back then, purple was the color. This is like 92, 93. So me and my boys, original TMC, we all came to school one day because it was like, oh, you got to dress up, whatever. All of us went out. We got these like purple suits. And I remember purple suits and purple Jan Sports and whatever. Anyway, so the point is that we are that far beyond all of that stuff. And from there to now, I've lived a pretty spectacular life, according to me, if I think about it. And, it was a crazy time. And I was just dreaming about that while I was driving. And we were picking up my kid. I'm like, I hope they try and be great and try and do those kinds of things. I really did. I tried to be great. They went to Job Corps. They had, initially they were going to be a carpenter. And I thought that was so fucking exciting. And they were like, nah, like right away. No, I don't want to do that. I'll just do culinary. So then they did culinary. Personally, I thought it was like a little bit of a cop-out, because carpentry is definitely challenging. And I think they would have been a lot better with it. But that place up there, it was like a little bit wild, actually. It was upstate New York, Callicoon. Bro, there were people out there from like, from everywhere. And there was like, geez, there were like fights over there. Bro, somebody was like sexually assaulted there and the police came and locked the guy up. It was crazy. I guess it's almost like a college campus, similar to the story I, shared last week when I was talking about my sister or whatever, when she went to college. So hopefully they come back and they try and do something that is not like mundane. When I was in my early 20s, I was like, there is no limit. I always had that voice, the same one I'm telling you right now, which is nagging me like, oh, you can do this, you can do that. Try this, try that. I'm getting together with groups of my friends. We're trying to start businesses. We're like, we're making moves. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to make moves. And sometimes I have to stop myself from being like, listen, I need to get my own affairs completely in order before I do any of these next steps. But that's, I still have to, I just got to be a little bit more organized. And I'm almost there, actually. But, everything is always like a little bit unmanageable, and that's okay. So, 30 years old, those freaking songs. And I've had an incredible 30 years. I'm 43. I've had an incredible 43 years. So in my mind, there's more. This is going to be the meat and potatoes. I would say the next 10 years, right? The next 10 years of my life, 43 to next 12 years, maybe 55, where I got to make it all happen. What do I want to do? Do I want to learn another language? Do I want to get a black belt in jiu-jitsu? Do I want to get better at chess? Do I want to set up my kids to be financially stable, which I'm already in the process of doing, because that's my job. Do I want to travel more? We were watching this movie called Death on the Nile, and I'm sure all of those sets are like fiction or whatever, but there's beautiful places on earth that I have yet to be. I've never traveled outside the country, to be honest with you. I never have. All I've done was just work and take care of my kid and travel in America. And, I live in the greatest city on this planet. And I've done a lot of stuff in this city that people come here to do. And I do it all the time. So that's really cool. Anyway, so there's that. So, I have that really just picking at me a little bit. And I know I'm babbling and I'm sorry. There was this other thing I was thinking about. Actually, hold on. I can tell you why my mouth is so dry. I went to Wegmans and I got this sandwich. It was just roast beef, lettuce, mayo. And it was on some kind of fancy bread. But I looked at it and I was like, oh, I think it was like 400 calories. I was like, all right, I'll take it. Because I'm not going to run tonight because it's way too late. And if I run this late at night, I'll never be able to go to sleep. My brain will be on fire. There's not enough freaking Unisoms to bomb me out. So I'm just going to have to eat popcorn for the rest of the night so I don't get fat. But, so we were driving, my girl and I, and we're listening to 105, Power 105.1, which is the hip-hop station in New York. I am not a Hot 97 guy. I was actually most of my life. And then out of nowhere, I took some moral high ground because of, well, number one, Hot 97, their morning show was like a little bit trashy for me. I grew out of like the trashiness, and then the Breakfast Club, they really took over, a little bit at a time. Envy, I love Envy. Charlemagne, he's cool. I don't love him. I don't hate. I don't know. I guess I just like him. I love Angela Yee. She's really good, and they have really good interviews and whatever. And Ebro and those guys, they're just like on another freaking wave. Like on like a trashy smut wave. And I never liked Rosenberg. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? I remember one time he went at Nicki Minaj, and it was funny because Nicki Minaj is probably top MC out right now. I don't want to hear shit that you think Rhapsody is better or anybody else. But for a woman who's rapping and writing her own lyrics, she's number one. And she's probably, if we want to be like whatever, like not female versus male rapping because it shouldn't be like that. It should just be top 5 MCs, whether they're male or female. But it's so crazy how the community just separates them for no reason. Like, what do they think? Like, women are smarter than men? Or men are smarter than women? I don't know. But it's so stupid. Maybe because they didn't want them to battle each other because then the men would be too vulgar. And that's why they have female MCs and male MCs. But I don't know. Roxanne Shante back in the day in UTFO, they had that beef, right? Was that what it was? Roxanne's Revenge or whatever. But, yeah. So maybe that's why it's separated. But I can tell you right now, Nicki raps better than who's really good? Of her generation, it's just really her and Drake and Wayne. We know Wayne's on top of them by one generation. We can't really compare them to Jay-Z and Nas because it's a different thing. But Nicki's Queen album, unbelievable. All her albums, if you appreciate pen and rapping and her putting stuff together, it's incredible. She's so fucking good. So her metaphors are so good, but she ruins it by opening her freaking mouth. Every time an album drops, she goes crazy. Why she could just be like Beyonce, which don't give no interviews, don't do anything, don't do that Queen radio shit, and then just drop music and keep it pushing. She could do that. And she would crush the game. But then she got into a thing back and forth with Cardi B. And Cardi's cool. It's like Cardi, I like Cardi, but Cardi, again, she don't write her own raps, so there's that, Drake doesn't write all his own raps, so he's in a different thing, even though Drake makes incredible music, and he's one of my favorites. Kanye, too, Kanye don't write all his own raps, so whatever for that, but either way. So going back to the thing, we're listening to 105, and we hear this commercial, which was so crazy. Well, the reason why I stopped listening to Hot 97, I need to do that to segue into this story. I'm sorry that I am all over the road. Again, it's a second Pfizer shot, gives me brain fog. I'm going to be blaming that till I'm taking a dirt nap. So, yeah, so I stopped listening to Hot 97 because they're a little bit sleazy, whatever, and they're a little stupid. In my mind, I don't like Ebro. I don't like Rosenberg. At least on the Breakfast Club, Envy, he's from Queens. Angela Yee is from Brooklyn. And Charlemagne's from South Carolina. But at least we got 2 New Yorkers. Ebro, whatever. He's from the West Coast. He's not from here. He's not. And Rosenberg, that guy's from Maryland or something. I don't know where the hell he's from, but he's definitely, he's oh, I like backpacker, real rap, whatever. Dude, real rap was real street. And I don't know why you liked it so much if you wasn't really real street, And so that's what was so weird to me, because then they always picked all these weird things. They'd be like, dude, you're number, Hot 97 is supposed to be number 1 hip hop on earth. And you got these 2 guys from out of town running the show. And then they wonder why it's if they didn't have Flex, that whole station would be 0. And that's it, because Flex is undeniable. He's an institution. I remember Flex would be playing at the Tunnel. I would never go. That place was way too crazy for me. And I was a little bit young when that was really popping, late teens, early 20s, when it was on and popping in there. And bro, come on, those guys with the jerseys, you know who they are? Forget it. And even though, whatever, I know one of them, Down Lazy, shout him out. What up? Come home soon, sir. I miss you and I love you and I love your kids. But, yeah, that was a crazy time. So, yeah, without Flex, that whole station would be 0. Because then they had, They had Angie Martinez, they had Flex. That was it. And then Angie Mar came to 105. And Flex stayed over there. Clue, they all came from Hot 97, whatever. But either way. So, but the reason was because I remember, in the morning they had a one of the ads for the morning show was for Ashley Madison. That's what it was. It was like for Ashley Madison. I was like, what? Like, there's kids listening on the school bus or whatever, like the way, bro, when I was going to school, even when I shout out to BOCES, Rockland Academy, what up? When the jitney bus used to pick us up in the morning to take us to the academy, right? Rockland Academy was part of BOCES, which is where I graduated. I mean, I graduated Rampo High School, but I went through the BOCES program because they asked me to leave in October of my 11th grade year, regular school. There was a couple of problems. There was a little this, some other stuff. I can't really get into it. But it wasn't, whatever. They asked me to leave. It wasn't a good fit for me. Why don't I just say that? Yeah. So we would be listening in the morning, and I remember it was Ed Lover, Dr. Dre in the morning, Hot 97. And they said, it's the roll call, it's the roll call, it's the roll call. I remember that. And I was like, it was everything, you know? And then people would call and they would spit the worst bars. You know, what's up, y'all? What you got to say? Who's on the phone with Ed, Lisa, and Dre? And they would say, bang, 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 or whatever. And it would be like fucking, some of it was good, but some of it would be trash. But that was like really, you know, that was when hip hop was hip hop, you know, and there was a lot of money in hip hop at that time, but like stupid, you know, big advertising dollars was not there yet, you know. And I'm saying that because I'm leading to a different part of the story, which is the main part. All right. So anyway, so the morning show goes from that to that. From there was like there to Star and Buck Wild, who were just like, it was horrible. At least what was wild is that they were playing Ozzy Osbourne intro music, right? Crazy Train, right? And then it just became like shock radio and whatever. Either way, and I fell out of it by that time. I was already doing some other stuff. I don't even remember. But anyway, so fast forward, and then in the morning I hear this stupid Ashley Madison thing, and I'm already an adult, and I'm like, adult meaning maybe I was 30, 28, 30 or whatever, and I was like, bro, there's like, then all of a sudden now I'm like a concerned citizen, right? It's like, dude, there's kids listening, and you guys are doing an ad for, you know, to cheat on your spouse, you know, and the ad was like, you know, be an adult, go have an affair, not everything, blah, blah, blah. It was just really sending out the wrong message. You know, it was just sending out the wrong message. And it's hard for me all the time to segregate, you know, some of the rap it sends out the wrong message of the street versus like an advertisement. I don't know why I can't separate. I have to separate the two. It's so crazy, you know, because I think it's like, okay, one of them is from the culture. Like, okay, these kids that are out there and they're rapping about the street and they're rapping about whatever. And apparently they're really about it. You know, in our day, like the rappers were like really, like I said, you know, the murder unit in the tunnel with the jerseys. Bro, these guys, they were about it. So now these young kids are also about it. It's funny because people make fun of the they're mumble rappers or this, that, and these drill guys or whatever. Bro, these guys, they're killing each other. They're really killing each other. None of them are in shape. None of them can fight, but they're all killing each other. It's fucking crazy how far the youth has fell. You know, they're killing each other for $10,000, $20,000. One guy gets on, he gets a $50,000 check, like whatever. Or they stay in the street, you know, and there's all this hope that's out there now. You know, like I said, with the internet and stuff and whatever, where people can look, even my kid who went to Job Corps, you know, they're going to do that. Either way. So that was like, I think that was the difference. The difference was like, okay, if we're talking from inside the room versus somebody coming from outside the room trying to sell us stuff, because they think that that's what we're supposed to buy. So that's why I didn't like. I remember I was like, dude, I am on a whatever. I remember my girl tell me now, so you still on strike from Hot 97? Yes. I don't think I've gone back there for more than an hour collectively here and there. I used to go back when they would have like anniversary of Biggie's death and Mr. C used to be on the radio. They used to have the old school at noon and the new at 2, which was incredible. I don't even know if they have any of that shit anymore. But Mr. C, anytime, it was an anniversary, he was like, there's nobody that could do tribute to Biggie better than Mr. C. I'm sorry. All of his mixers were out of control, and people bit off of them. I remember one time he even played the Dirty Harry remix. It was Bullshit and Party and Bullshit and over the Made You Look beat. I don't want to go. I'll find it. Maybe I'll play it at the end, but maybe they'll just they'll collapse on me. So, point of the story is this. Hip-hop lives, right? And we're driving and we're listening to 105. And I don't know if you guys have heard these. Maybe I'm very behind. I know I'm very slow because I don't listen to the radio a lot. Sometimes at night I listen to Clue to see what's going on in the street because Clue plays straight street shit. Or I'll put something on Spotify. I'll put on like one or two. No, on Tidal. It's funny because my daughter was like, you don't have Spotify Premium? I only have Spotify for Rogan. Other than that, I do Tidal. That's it. Yeah. So either way, point is this. Right? We're driving and we're listening and we heard this crazy commercial. And it was so crazy, we thought it was a joke. And then I was like, oh my God. I was like, how stupid, or this is the way that these companies look at our culture. I say our culture like hip hop culture is our culture, and it's a huge business. And now I remember, bro, when we were kids, if you're my age, a little bit older, like my age maybe is like the cutoff point. I want to say that because I'm like the last. But we're like really the first hip-hop generation. So rap music was our music. It wasn't there before us. My generation, we invented rap music. That was our gift to the world. And it came out of New York. And then, you had mixtapes from all over the country. It was just so crazy. It was a whole movement. It's the greatest movement in the last 100 years for me is hip hop, and I'm going to listen to rap music all the way to the day I die. And not just like, old school rap, whatever. I got to be like that because my girl's around. But I still listen to, I told you, I love that guy, Russ. Definitely Griselda, all of those. Come on. These guys, they're in it, right? So, it's our culture. It's New York culture. It's New York culture. There were white people in the South Bronx too that were dirty and they were poor. It's just what it was. It's just what it was. The Puerto Ricans, they were part of the movement with both the graffiti and breakdancing. When I see the breakdancing now and I see these videos of these Asian kids, the Japanese kids that they do, it's not breakdancing to me. I'm sorry. All you guys are doing is like gymnastics. It's not, but it doesn't even look like cool. It just looks like, how could I do the craziest flip, spin? It's like, dude, it looks like male gymnastics. And then they wear our clothes and they do our stuff, And, so they just want to borrow from the culture. The culture is ours, but they want to borrow from the culture. And it's New York culture, it's black culture, it's Spanish culture, it's New York culture, it's our culture. You know, it's America's culture is hip hop. You know, urban, whatever, however you want to call it. You know, however you want to call it. We were all in it together back in the day. KRS was not like, the Beastie Boys are white, fuck them. Crazy. Imagine, bro, I just listened to a whole interview with Rick Rubin. Imagine if they were like, no, Rick Rubin, you white, forget it, you can't make beats. Where would LL be? Right? Where would LL be? Where would Run DMC be? Where would Def Jam? Are you kidding me? Anyway, I don't want to get into the whole thing. But when I mean like, yo, this is how people view our culture. And then they come in and then they try to feed and leech off of our culture, our people. You know. And this was like the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. I'm going to try and see if I can get it to play. Stand by. Hang on. Oh, it's going to play.
Your wife caught you cheating on her. Now she's leaving you. Everything is in her name. She's taking the house, the kids, the car. The only reason why everything was in her name? Because your credit was bad. But now you left with nothing. And you gotta put your life back together. You sit down and think, what's the first thing I need to do? You need to get a car. Only problem is, you have a repo and your credit score is like 500. You say I'm going to northeastkid.com. They can help me. They say if they can't get you approved, then God couldn't get you approved. You get down there. You see your baby. It was love at first sight. You got approved for a 2020 Benz. Now look at you. You feeling a little better about yourself now, ain't you? If you had bad credit and you need a car, come to us. We'll approve you. It's northeastkid.com.
Yeah. We were like, what? We were like, yo, do they think that, I guess this is what we were saying. We were saying like, would they play that, do they play that commercial on fucking Z100 or KTU? You know what I'm saying? Like, do they think we're all fucking animals? Are they gambling that it's black, brown, and poor white people that have fucked up credit and fucked up relationships? Like, we're the only, like, that's who we are? That somebody at Kia in a marketing meeting said this is a good idea. It felt crazy because I was like offended. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Like, to perpetuate what we're trying to unwind, right? Now that the first hip hop generation, we're all getting older. The guys that are ahead of me, right? Like the OGs, right? Like I said, like LL, KRS. Those guys are only like 10 years older than me, right? The oldest one is obviously Ice-T. I mean, that motherfucker's old. But they're like 10 years older than me. 12 years maybe. 15 years at most, maybe Dr. Dre or whatever. But bro, like, this is what they think of us, you know? They don't know that there's guys on Wall Street. There's guys in boardrooms and women. Guys, when I say guys, I mean men and women, not just men. So I don't want to hear no shit. but that listen to hip hop. That's our culture. Those are our people. This is our community. And they got some freaking clown to get up there and, sound like a bootleg Flex, to be honest. Yeah, it was crazy. I was shocked. I was sad. I was like, bro, we're trying to tell these kids, like, no, listen, it's okay if your life is fucked up. You make some bad decisions. Listen, in your 20s, if you do everything right the first time, I promise you'll be sad in your 30s because it ain't going to work out, the way you wanted it to. And then you have to rebuild and whatever. And that's what midlife crisis is, or all this other shit, But some of us banged around in our 20s. We got bad credit and we fucked up a car and we were in bad relationships or whatever. Like, the last thing we need in that situation that the guy is describing, you don't need a car, bro. You don't need a car. You don't. I'll tell you what you need. You need to get on your feet financially. You need to maybe get in the gym, do some healthy stuff, put yourself back together, maybe take a class, go to night school. But they're here with that, you know what I'm saying? They're like, and in your 20s or in your teens, you're very gullible. I'm still gullible to this day, but at that time I was very gullible, And like I said, what you want to use it as racism, you can say whatever you want. I mean, I'll say that maybe. Yeah, it's definitely racism against if hip hop was a race. If hip hop was a race. Whatever. It was just so, I was appalled. And there was another one. My God, this next one is even crazier. I'm going to see if I can get it to play without the ad that's in front of it. Oh, yeah.
Why you scared to come to Northeast, kid? I remember. It was last summer you went to that other car dealership. They sold you a 2015 Nissan Altima. The car no $800. When you drove off in the car, all the salesman was laughing at you. They robbed you. Robbed you blind. We call that an execution. We could have put you in a Range Rover for that.
See, they got the Biggie playing in the back.
Now you got a limit, your car don't even work. Now you got a repo. All because you wouldn't come to Northeast Kia. I told you we don't care about your credit. All we care about is putting you in the Ford, taking you out of that Ultima and putting you in a Benz. If we can't get you approved, God couldn't get you approved. Remember, it's only one of us. It's NortheastKia.com.
Somebody had to sign off on that. They had to. And they're part of a system that is just oppressing us. There was one of my friends, this guy that I really like. I don't even know him, but I know him from Facebook because we're also in the same industry, and we definitely shared a few conversations on the phone. He sent me a very helpful book. His name is Joe, right? And he said, he wrote something, whatever, and I said, the reason why our culture is losing on earth, I said, I blame TikTok because it's fucking poison. Like, all of these messages that are being put out there, like, are poison. That is not for entertainment. To me, that's like, yeah. It's not for entertainment. That's somebody trying to get us to do shit. That's like, when they say they're mad because Elon wants to buy Twitter. I don't know. I'm bet against that they would even let him. Probably because he would fix it. And that's what I wrote on my friend Joe's page. on his post or whatever, he said something about that. I said, yeah. I said, I blame TikTok because, again, TikTok in China is not the same as TikTok here. You know, now that everything is being wide open, like I said, you have the internet, you have YouTube. You can learn how to fix cars. You can learn how to do anything. You can learn how to start a business. You can be positive. You can learn how to lift weights. You can learn a new language. You can learn a new skill. You can, all of these things that I was talking about, that how we're going to waste our time, all of it's open for you. And they don't want us to learn anything. They want us to do stupid fucking dances and then go and put fucking silicone all in your face so you look like a fucking, like a melted candle. To use filters for fucking what? How about you use freaking lotion? Moisturize, motherfucker. Do that. Go to the gym. Take your life in your own hands. These people, they're trying to kill us. And I can tell you, it is because there's a lot of things that I believe that's involved. Number one is that now we're going to go down a little bit of a conspiracy rabbit hole. And it's because the powers that be don't want us working together, regular people. They don't want regular people working together. Regular people of all races. So what do? They divide and conquer. Very simple. Listen, middle class black people, middle class white people, middle class Spanish people, middle class everybody all have the same fucking problems. You know, we're trying to stay out of the poor box. Poor white people, bro, they're fucking crazy. Poor white people like rednecks, and they love hip hop. They do. Maybe they don't. Maybe all of them don't love black people, but they definitely love hip hop, and that's the truth. Because it makes them feel tough, and some of them are tough, man. These guys, they're doing all kind of crazy shit. Anyway, they don't want them to get their life together. Just the same way, the powers that be, the government. I'm going to say the government. I'm going to say them. Them includes the government, these corporations, these third or fourth generation, people who are in charge. Typically, they're white, the Pfizers who are feeding you these fucking drugs, and the Mercs, the same people who, the same kind of companies that were behind the opioid epidemic, and then you're not allowed to question whether or not you could take 2 jabs from a fucking virus that allegedly it's a vaccine, but no, it's not. It's really just it's some other stuff, But whatever, I'm not like the same. Those are the same people who gave black people syphilis, right, and that kind of stuff, and they were sterilizing other people all over the world. That shit is real. Those corporations, you can't trust them. You crazy? At all. And they're poisoning us with fucking commercials like that. It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. You know what matters? What matters is you helping out your neighbor. You loving everybody. All of us together. That's what matters. Because you know what's going to happen? Here's what they're scared of. And this is why all of this shit is really ramping up. They're trying to spread their information a lot quicker. Look, Behold the Pale Horse, right? If you haven't read that book, you need to go and read that book. Or you can go and listen to it on Audible. Who is that? Is that Zacharias? No, it's not Zacharias. That's Pale Horse. I just want to make sure I give you the right information. I'm sorry. Who is written it? Oh, Milton William Cooper. It's an incredible book. It's an incredible book, Anyway, so, yeah, you really need to listen to that book. Because these people, that's what they want us to do, man. They're rolling these corporations and the skulls and all this other shit. Yo, bro, Hunter Biden, Donald Trump Jr., all of them, they're all part of this thing. And it's very blatant when it comes with stuff like that. Or with like how, Epstein kills himself in the jail, allegedly. How is this lady, what's her name, Ghislaine Maxwell, and there's got to be a whole circus of people. How are they not going down crazy, but we're all sitting here fighting about fucking Will Smith slapping Chris, But all that other shit is going underneath the radar. The Hunter Biden freaking laptop is under the radar. They're going to be like, they're just feeding you shit to make you stupid because you want to know what the real truth is. The truth is that they don't want us to work together. And the old rich white people are scared, the ones that really built their wealth off of the backs of other people. Not everybody does that. Some people, they know that I love Elon. You got to take the good with the bad. At least he's trying to do something on this planet. They definitely won't let him have Twitter because he'll probably fix it and just let people say whatever the fuck they want to say, which I think that's the way it should be. And if you don't agree, then you don't agree. Too bad. That's a part of the freedom of speech in this country, Now, all those old Rockefeller types, they're scared because old white people are scared because I think the year they said is maybe going to be 2040, allegedly, is a tipping point where the white people will be the minority in this country, the legit minority, and that's like 2040. So imagine by like 2060, that means hopefully I'll be around when like a bulk of our lawmakers and whatever will be people of color. And not just like black and brown people, but people who are mixed race, who came from different cultures, who are like me, like a Puerto Rican Jew, or somebody who's like, bro, I knew people who were like Haitian and Chinese, that's like incredible. That kind of stuff, that's what we need. Or just regular white people who aren't so threatened. These people, they perpetuate this fear that the day of reckoning is coming. And they're going to make it come if they keep doing shit like that. And more people, hopefully like me, speak out against that. Like, that is like so insane. And that's what I like about the Breakfast Club. That, they're trying to unwind some of the bad stuff that we are doing to ourselves and some of the bad stuff that society is putting on us. Look, I hate the police, man. I do, but not all cops are bad. I hate all the power that they have, and I hate the fact that, look, the cops, they're like, oh, we don't solve. A lot of times, detectives, they can't solve crimes because people don't snitch, right? They don't like the no snitching rule, but they themselves, that's rule number one for them, right? Rule number one for them is no snitching. So I don't know where we're going to go. How are we going to spend our time? What are we going to do, man? I don't want to get too angry about this stuff, but it fucking bothers me. It bothers me because that's like blatant. That stupid commercial is fucking blatant. You're trying to rob from us. You're trying to rob from us. Our culture is like very, hip hop was like the biggest like punk rock kind of thing ever, It was the biggest anti-social whatever. And I remember that time, man. Like, I remember hip hop and like hardcore and punk rock. It was all in the same soup, all in the same soup. Come on, remember on I don't know what album it was, on the Sick of It All album. Yeah, Sick of It All was a hardcore group from New York. Shout out to all those guys. I went to a lot of hardcore shows when I was a kid, teenager, whatever. I went to hardcore shows, hip hop shows. I went to all kind of shit because I grew up in the greatest state in the world, I'd love to say I grew up in the greatest city, but I didn't grow up in the city. I'm a bridge and tunnel guy. Sorry. But I went and hung out in the city every chance that I could, a few times a week. I went to all these clubs. I saw all these bands, all these acts. I saw all of this stuff. So I was right next to the pulse. Either way, sick of it all. One of my favorites back in the day, it wasn't Built to Last. It was something else. Yeah, it definitely wasn't Built to Last. But I remember KRS-One did the intro for the fucking album. Right? Because we were all in the same thing, man. It was all like, and people like hip-hop is going to go away. Rap music is a fad. Those kids that they listen to that, my dad used to call it that rap crap. Like, I guess that was his own way of rhyming. That rap crap. You know, I say this all the time to remind myself that this is my culture. That I knew LL Cool J and Rakim lyrics before I knew my fucking times tables. And I learned the times tables in the third grade or the fourth grade. Third grade, I think. I memorized them. Just 1 through 9, which is really all you need. But yeah, I remember, you know, I had all of that. It was our stuff. And I loved that grown-ups hated it. And it was great. And on top of that, hip-hop introduced us to, once you get older, you start like, oh, what is that? And then you're like, oh, my God, they didn't make that beat. That's a sample. That's they chopped this piece and did that. And you get to explore all this other music. You know, it sends you down a rabbit hole to real history. That's what it does. Instead of shit like Led Zeppelin, where they're fucking just ripping off other people and giving no credit. The Eric Clapton, the fucking Beatles, bro. The Beatles, their songs, they were incredible, I guess, then. I was never really a big Beatles fan. Dude, it was like very hokey. It's like 3 or 4 chords. That's it. You know? And very simple stuff. You know, simple stuff. You know, it's like catchy pop. I don't get it. I don't, you know. I'm sure some people get it, and maybe you had to be there. Just like you had to be there when Nas and Jay-Z beefed. I don't care what anybody, you can say whatever you want to say right now. It doesn't matter. Whether it was Super Ugly versus Ether, Ether won. And it's not an opinion because they did a competition in New York City when those records dropped. First, it was the Takeover, and then Nas dropped Stillmatic, and this was all, the Stillmatic was in the street. It was on those mixtapes. Mixtapes, man. Shout out to Doo-Wop, SNS, Tony Touch. My favorite is Dirty Harry. Envy's tapes, they were hot. You know, Envy, Big Splash, March Madness, all those tapes. Double R. I know I'm missing somebody. I never liked Clue when he came out because he talked too much on the fucking... He just did. He talked too much. He would just say, Clue, Clue. Yo, I remember when Funkmaster Flex used to not talk. He used to just play records. He would play 4 or 5 records in a row, 6 records in a row, and then he'd come and he'd be like, yeah, and talk he wasn't a loud, yelling, crazy guy on the mic. He would just tell you what records he played, and then that was it. The man was Red Alert, Ron G, the youngest DJ in charge. You know, that was it. Before Hot 97, dude, it used to be Hot 103, and then that was all freestyle, and then it became Hot 97, and then they started playing full-time rap. But before that, bro, hip-hop was regulated to like 1 hour or 2 hours a day on different stations, whether it was Kiss FM, BLS would play, and that's what Ron G had it. And the shows before them when I was really young, Mr. Magic, I think, was one of those shows. I don't remember, but I remember Red Alert, Kid Capri. Come on, man. Yeah. 95 Live. Who was that? That was Doo-Wop, right? 95 Live. That was when, oh, come on, man. Stretch and Bobito, right? Come on, man. That was our stuff. That was our time. And we're growing up. And they're coming, Kia, everybody else, they're coming to keep us stupid because they don't want to, they don't want us to grow. They don't want us to learn. They want us to stay stupid. They want us to stay in jail. They want us to stay in the street. They don't want to tell these kids that, like, no, you know what? They want you to go to college to get a degree, to get a job that you can't use. Instead of saying, no, go back to old school, go to a trade school, and then learn how to open a business. They don't want you to do that. They're selling you that other lie. I feel so horrible for people who went to school who are $100,000, $80,000 in debt, and they can't get a fucking job, or their job pays them $35,000. They're going to be paying off that loan forever, bro. When they're like, oh no, you come out of college, you'll be bossing the other kids around. Meanwhile, you go to electrical school, you go to plumbing school. That's why I wanted my kid to learn a fucking trade like the carpentry. I mean, shit, the culinary shit is whatever for me. I'm sorry if you're a chef. My cousin Tito's a chef and he's really good, but he fucking killed himself to get there. And he's a freaking wizard. He's a freaking wizard and he's a beautiful, lovely man. But I'm letting you know right now that, like, he knows how to build shit too. My man was flipping cribs down there in Florida, boy, doing his thing. Proud of you, love you. But yeah, man, like they're telling these kids, like, no, man, no, you go get a trade. I'm telling you right now, you get a trade. Electricians, yeah, you're going to have to bust your ass some. Plumbers, you're going to bust your ass some. My boy, iron worker, he killed himself, but the guy's killing it. And he knows how to take care of his own shit. It's that kind of stuff. Painters, bro, I know guys during the '08 crash that they lost everything. Finance guys, they went and started painting apartments and then started a painting business. Dude, these guys are getting $300, $400 a room to paint white. That's real money. That's real money. But, that's what they want, man. They want us to, they want to stay in control. All right, let me see if I can find this this mix. Hold on. I'll leave you with this one. Let's see if it'll come. Oh, here we go. Bullshit and party and bullshit. I'm a bad boy. Biggie. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. On that note, we're out of here. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all the support. Again, we're gathering up some more interviews. Some of these other lugs hanging around. And I heard a really good thing. This guy's name is Ricky. Well, he says his name. Well, I'll just call him Ricky. He's in a meeting I go to. He says, everybody says, I'm taking this with me, and I'll try and use it as many times as I can. So in the words of my boy Ricky from A Way Out, have a wonderful day, unless you have other plans. Peace. We want to thank you all for joining us today. And please don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms, and find us on Facebook where you can become part of our family. We'll see you around.